Hey everyone, Poindexter here. We're about to begin what will hopefully be the long and successful fighter pilot career of Oberleutnant, or Lieutenant, Werner Meier, who has just become active in March 1943. He will be assigned to the Western Front to assist in countering the growing menace of American daylight bombing raids. With luck, he will be able to make a name for himself and be counted among the Luftwaffe's greatest fighter pilots. So, let's get started. Since Werner Meier is an officer, he is allowed 1 experience point to spend on skills if so desired. On player chart B5 is a list of all the skills in the game and their cost in experience points. The game also allows your pilot to fly as a non-commissioned officer, if you so choose. There are perks and drawbacks to both choices, such as the non-commissioned officers receiving 2 experience points at the start instead of 1. NCOs also have abilities which officers do not, and vice versa. For example, officers, such as our Werner Meier, receive a prestige point for every promotion rank they earn, unlike NCOs, who do not. But Oberleutnant Meier has a choice to make. With only 1 experience point, there aren't too many skill choices to purchase at first. You can elect not to spend your XP, save them for later, and purchase more powerful skills if you wish. The choice is yours. However, I find the reflexes trait to be a useful early game skill. In combat, both you and the target fire at the same time, and the damage results are also applied in the same way. Against bombers, reflexes allows you a one-time early shot, where your pilot can fire first in an attempt to damage the target before they can return fire. Again, it can only be used once during an intercept, but it can sometimes damage your target enough to where its return fire is less effective, and, in rare cases, destroy it completely. Next, we'll choose our starting location. This chart in the player manual is used to determine the fighter group, zone, and aircraft you will be flying. You have the option of rolling a 20-sided die to randomly select your location, or you may choose a particular starting day yourself. We'll forego the dice roll and choose one of the start dates on the list. There are several to choose from, but Lieutenant Meier is needed at JG-27, located in Bernay, in the French zone. Meier will be flying a Bf-109 Model G4. Being based in the French zone is a good thing for the first-time player. Checking the A1 raid chart for March 1943, we see that there is a high chance of intercepting American raids in this zone, which will give our pilot a much better chance of scoring kills. However, there are a couple of things to be concerned about. The Bf-109 generally has weaker firepower than its Focke-Wulf cousin, and it's also slightly more fragile, which means it cannot take too many hits. But there are a couple of good things about the 109. First, the 109 is an agile aircraft, which gives it a maneuverability boost against Allied escort fighters. Also, the 109 is a small target, which means American gunners have a harder time hitting the interceptor at long range, reflected in the -1 random hit modifier on the bomber combat chart. Now that we have our pilot settled in his starting location, we'll prepare the sortie log sheet by filling out all the relevant information. Nearly every month, except for April 1943, allows for 8 sorties to be flown, This was the average number of main force raids flown by the 8th Air Force during the game's time period. Finishing up with the aircraft map, we'll place the wingman marker in the present box and place all of the base markers at the top. We'll also arm our 109 with ammunition. The card indicates how much cannon ammunition this particular 109 can carry. Cannon ammo is limited, unlike the machine guns, which are unlimited. Of course, in reality there was no such thing as unlimited ammo, but it was extremely unlikely that machine gun ammo was completely used up when flying a sortie, unlike cannon ammunition. Therefore, Interceptor Ace makes MG ammo unlimited simply for gameplay purposes. We're now ready to begin our first sortie. First, we perform a weather check by rolling 2 6-sided dice and referring to the weather chart on the operations map. We roll an 8, which is good. Next, we roll 2 6-sided dice on the chart in the appropriate month to see where our first raid will be located. The roll is a 12. Our first intercept will be over Ham Rail in the Rhur. The raid will be passing close to our area, only 1 endurance box away from our takeoff point. Since we'll be intercepting the raid early, we'll be able to catch the bombers while they still carry bombs, as noted by the bomb icon in the France Rhur block. This is important, as we could potentially destroy the bomber if any hits from our attack strike the bombs and cause them to detonate. We move our fighter to the takeoff space, then to the raid location. Next, we roll for interception on chart B1. This will determine if we actually encounter the raid, we fail to intercept the raid, or we encounter a group of fighters. We roll 2 6-sided dice and compare the result. The roll is a 4, which is head-on. Since there will be an encounter in this zone, we next roll for the type of bomber we'll be encountering in this raid. We refer to the March 43 chart and roll 1 10-sided die for the result. The result is a 3. We'll be going up against B-17 flying fortresses in this raid. Also of note is Fighter None, which means all raids we will encounter in March of 43 are unescorted. We now begin combat against our target. We rolled a head-on encounter, so our counters will be facing each other. Unless otherwise rolled, all bomber intercepts begin at long range. We must now decide whether to use the reflexes skill to fire first and hopefully do some damage before the B-17 can return fire. Lieutenant Meier will use the skill and hope for a good result. The weapons on Lieutenant Meier's 109 add up to 6, which is the number we will refer to when drawing a combat card. But before we draw the card, we must first declare which area of the B-17 will be targeted. According to chart B3, we must declare our aim point before firing. We have 3 choices: the port wing, the starboard wing, or the airframe. Since the B-17 is still carrying bombs, we'll aim for the airframe in the hopes of a lucky die roll that will strike the bomb bay and hopefully detonate the bombs. Lieutenant Meier fires at the airframe and removes 1 point of cannon ammunition. And we draw a combat card to see how many hits we've scored. Unfortunately, not many. Our firepower is rated as 6. Checking the results under the 6 column, we score 2 hits. Unfortunately, 1 hit is removed, since we are attacking from long range, leaving us with only 1 actual hit. We now roll for the location of our single hit on chart B3, and the result is a 2, an airframe hit. We place a damage marker in the first space of the B-17's airframe column. Now it's the B-17's turn to fire. For that, we need to draw another combat card and refer to the defensive fire section at the bottom. The American gunners would normally cause 3 hits, but thanks to the 109 being a small target, 1 hit is removed at long range, for a total of 2 hits. When resolving hits to your fighter, we refer to chart B6 for the damage results. 2 6-sided dice are rolled for each hit, 1 for the tens position and another for the ones position. Our colored dice will be the tens indicator. And we roll a 53, which is minor damage, which has no effect. For our second hit, we roll 25, which is port engine. Since the 109 only has 1 engine, the port engine result defaults to a simple engine hit. The engine hit causes us to lose 2 speed points, but fortunately there are no escorts around. However, 1 more hit to the engine will destroy it and incapacitate our fighter, forcing us to break off. Lieutenant Meier may choose to break off at this point if he so chooses. However, he decides to press on, determined to cause as much damage to this huge behemoth as possible. He closes to medium range. At this range, there is no range penalty for the 109's attack. However, the B-17s add 1 extra random hit to their defensive fire. Since our attack at long range was ineffective, Lieutenant Meier is going to call on the assistance of his wingman. But first, he will have to perform his attack against the B-17. As we have used the reflexes skill, both Lieutenant Meier and the B-17 are considered to be attacking at the same time. Lieutenant Meier decides to target the airframe once again, hoping for that elusive Bombay hit. He fires away, removing another point of ammunition. 2 combat cards are drawn, 1 for the 109 and 1 for the B-17. The first is for the 109. And the bomber is destroyed. But we must still draw for the B-17's defensive fire. 2 hits are scored on our fighter, plus an extra hit due to our medium-range attack, for a total of 3 hits. We refer to chart B6 for the hit results. The first hit is a 15, landing gear. The second hit is a 55, the airframe. And the final hit is 44, the Werfer Granata rockets, which is not carried by Meier's 109. As a result, the hit is considered a minor damage hit and causes no effect. With our target destroyed and his ammo running low, Lieutenant Meier decides to head for home. We move the 109 marker to the landing space. Now we roll 2 6-sided dice for the landing result. As we have damaged landing gear, we add a +1 modifier to the final die roll. And the roll is an 11, which is modified to 12. A safe landing, but just barely. Lieutenant Meier's first sortie for JG-27 was a success. A B-17 bomber was destroyed, his first kill. In honor of this achievement, Lieutenant Meier is awarded the Iron Cross Second Class, giving him his first prestige point. We update the player log for Lieutenant Meier's first mission, and we're ready for the next sortie. Congratulations, Lieutenant. That concludes Lieutenant Meier's first sortie. Single-handedly bringing down a heavy bomber is no mean feat, and one that has earned the respect of his fellow pilots, though he did almost botch his landing attempt. But since his landing gear was damaged in the attack, no one thought any less of it. Next time, we'll continue with Lieutenant Meier's career and hopefully meet with more success. Thanks for watching, and we'll talk again soon.